Hello and welcome to the 27th Veterans Park Open presented by Legacy Discs and Ideal Discs. We are coming to you from Arlington, Texas. BigSexy commentary, back at it. It might be coming close to the off season, but we're not quitting yet. It's myself, Nate Sexton, and Jeremy Koling.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to try harder than that to get rid of us. But we have a star-studded lineup here. Some of the Texas and Oklahoma's favorite. Got Eagle McMahon in the card as well from Colorado. We're going to see a lot of open shots, a lot of windy shots, and we got some technical shots out here at the VPO as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these players contest the always highly wind course out here. So we got Nolan Grider as the 2016 champ and Eagle McMahon as the 2015.
For sure. And we start this tournament layout starts on course hole 17. Par 3, 429 feet. It's moving to the right, but it's a big crush.
Yeah, and we got Nolan Grider, who obviously you see a little bit of the wind bounce there. One of Texas, that's one of the best players in Texas, one of the fan favorites. He's always exciting to watch.
Favorite son.
Oh, absolutely. And here we have one of the players that was up and coming as a youngster, Coda Hatfield, always a stud on the course. And we don't get to see as much of him as we used to, but he has got so much power.
Yeah, he does. I feel like he's kind of like, he's maybe a name that the Jomez generation of disc golf fans maybe hasn't heard too much, but I think he has an NT title. Right, didn't he win a national tour event? I mean, he was a top player probably right when he was kind of coming into the game. He was setting some really amazing distance records out there, ripping some shots on the course. And
sure.
And I think that was probably, I would say, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Look at these pants.
And these pants are stealing the show right now. Bradley Williams came up a bit short, maybe a little bit too much turn on this. It's pretty difficult to tell what the wind's doing. As you see, Eagle turns his drive over, Brad turns his drive over, but it appeared as if there was a bit of a tailwind. So maybe it's a tail here off the tee, but crossing up there somewhere through the middle of the fairway. We'll see if Miles Seaborn can go to town on their line.
Yeah.
An immediate drop.
Early wind bounce, but it's tracking really nice.
Oh, wow. And this needs a little bit of a counter skip, which it gets, and he is within 20 feet. That's a beautiful shot from Miles Seaborn.
Yeah, it is. And
Eagle and the Pants, it's like a new band that I've never heard of before. Lays up there, and you can see how close Miles' drive really was as Eagle lands right next to it.
Here's Bradley from the rough. Nice little kick. I don't know about you, Germ, but first hole of a tournament, like the way Bradley's kicked towards the basket, to me that kind of thing is such a relief.
Yeah, of course. I
like
find
any other hole, like if I take a little bounce 5 feet this way, 5 feet that way, okay, whatever. But first hole, like, don't make me mess around with a 28-footer.
Right, of course. Get those jitters out of the way. It's nice to have it tap in. Calms the nerves. And here we are with Miles Seaborn in his attempt for a 2. And that's a great start there. And was Coda's drive even closer?
I think that must be his upside down. Maybe it's upside down. The white disc there.
Oh, okay.
It hit the trees and fell, so I think he's parked.
Wow. And Bradley in for par. He has to be top 5 smoothest player of all time. Both forehand, backhand, and putt. Just epitomizes the word smooth.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. And Coda, fantastic.
And Nolan will tap in there with... He's a player who plays in Texas, which is predominantly windy all the time, yet he putts with arrows, which is a kind of an interesting disc to putt with that is not quite as overstable as some of the better headwind putters that there are out there.
Yeah, I guess if your spin rate's high enough, I mean, you can cut through it, but that is pretty cool. Yeah,
one of the best spin putters, too. I mean, it's an interesting combination. As we have a 368 turnover here, or a forehand if you got that kind of power uphill. Plays really long, It's a difficult shot to approach, but if anybody's got the power for it, it's this guy right here, Coda Hatfield.
Look at the size of these tee pads, too. Looks really like a well taken care of course.
Yeah, they really take pride in their course. I know the last time that I played down there was Mach 3 baskets, and they've upgraded to the new veteran targets. So they're trying to keep one of the oldest courses in Texas alive, and have really beautiful tee pads and amenities. So it's well done for the local park for that.
Beautiful shot. Yeah, and I mean, did they really have a choice but to go with the veteran basket? I mean, you're sitting in Veterans Park.
That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
You kind of had that decision made for you. You got the perfect target for your park.
Sure. And Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas and that area is so heavily dominated with DD, the presence of great players like Eric McCabe in Kansas. And wow, look at this shot from Brad. Wow. What a great shot. Deserving the SloMez here. Look at this air bounce immediate drop.
Wow.
And still managed to have enough nose angle to get the skip off the ground. He's going to have a literal tap-in. Awesome birdie there.
An eagle. Huge forehand power. I mean, he might have the biggest forehand on the tour when he decides to let it out.
It surprises me. It catches me off guard every time because he's a predominant backhand player, and his forehand form is a bit. It's an interesting form. I'll say that, but he gets so much power behind it. And Coda with his spin putt, just off the top there.
Miles gonna get out of the gates hot here.
Look at that, back to back to start off. He is a player in this part of the country, this part of the world, that you cannot take for granted. He has proven himself for a number of years there's really no better player in the wind. That's basically his domain, is the Texas, Oklahoma, kind of the mid part of the country. He is a fantastic player.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, Chickpea Nation knew this a long time ago, but you catching that blonde hair from Eagle, too.
Oh, gosh, I didn't even see. This is a whole new image here.
Yeah, I mean, he's really pushing the limits of his style here in the late season.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to prepare for 2018, you better start doing it now.
I agree.
So 3 great birdies there from Miles, Bradley, and Eagle.
And here we are, back around to hole 1. Par 3, 541 feet. Basically looks like it's just about time to throw it as far as you can.
Yeah, the difficult thing here is that the best shot is a roller, but it's so difficult to throw a roller in this open of a field. You're so exposed, and if the wind is picked up at all, it's so difficult to lay it down right. But it is a slightly downhill, but you can see that tailwind just ripping. And with that tailwind going so fast, it's really difficult to keep a disc turned over at all. So I imagine, as you can see that play from Miles, that is a pretty conservative shot. It did not look like he was trying to attack for a 2 at all.
No. It is set up beautifully for the roller, but the wind is the roller's archenemy.
And Brad just showing his technical skill there with what I'm sure is a destroyer, just throws it nice, low, avoids the wind, and he's up there for a pretty easy pitch up and down for a 3.
Man, yeah, the conditions have to be a little bit tough. If you see even Eagle just playing smooth hyzer here, not interested at all in going for 2.
He just threw that so soft. Well, looks like Coda's got something lined up here. He's going to go with the roller.
There it is.
And that tailwind it's going to be difficult for this thing to stand up all the way. It looks like this is going to head OB. Yep. And it has gone across the road. And wait a second. Wow. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Come on, wind.
Oh, come on.
That was crazy.
And look, Nolan's there. His disc is
still going. He just got run over.
Oh,
it's still going now. Sorry, Nolan, but something. I don't know why you're throwing. Coda's shot was still moving.
Oh my goodness. That's one of the funniest things I think I've seen this year in commentary. That was amazing. Unfortunate.
Wow, did you see Michael back there in a dust devil?
Yeah, wow. It's just, that is the hardest part about dealing with this course. It's it's an older course, so a lot of the lines have been cleared out for a number of years. And it's just so windy. I mean, if you come here on a calm day, the course is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
Wow, I still just haven't got over Coda's road roller. That was amazing.
Hopefully the disc is all right after that car hit it.
Wow. And Nolan wanted to give it a bit of a run, but that thing just got smashed down. He's going to have to settle for a 4, and that's a great 3 there. Off to a hot start. Get the leaf out of there.
And he clears a leaf out of the basket. Well done.
He's a gentleman. And that's a tricky headwind putt.
Such a tough putt. Yeah, you can see how excited he is. I mean, that's probably into a 20-mile-an-hour sustained headwind. So hard to keep the disc down.
And Coda has that patented spin throw putt. I mean, I can't stress it enough. He was one of the guys that was really making a name for himself when I first started playing disc golf, and it's so cool to watch him play again because he hasn't been on the scene quite as much, and he's got so much talent.
Yeah, for sure.
So 3 quality pars and got 2 4s that almost feel like pars at the way that hole played there.
Hole 2, par 3, just 292 feet, but looks to be through a pretty arid landscape here. We've moved into a real desert biome. It's going to be tricky.
It's going to be really tricky with that wind funneling right up this little fairway here. Although it looks pretty calm low. If these guys can keep this drive low, well, and then you see the wind picked it up there. It's really important to go with something overstable and keep it down the middle of this fairway until the last second where the disc can just break in there with the forehand. I doubt we'll see any backhands here. Maybe Coda.
Yeah.
Actually, Nolan is almost...
nice and low.
Yeah, that's the way to throw it right there.
Oh, perfect.
And Brad is such a student of the game. He understands all these wind scenarios. He understands his discs. He's very in touch with his game.
Yeah, he's probably one of the more, diligent practicers out there where, just from what I know of him on social media and talking to him in person, he's just always asking questions. Even as a top player, he's still asking questions and still trying to understand why somebody does this, why somebody does that. That's a nice shot. Just to kind of always be honing and practicing his craft.
And he's one of the best teachers of the game as well. He's a really good coach. So if he's in that mode, see, Nolan is such a disadvantage of not having the forehand here. He's going to be in a really tricky spot. Oh, look at this little window. Oh,
and he nails it. Beautiful shot.
Was made a lot easier than it actually was. And these little tricky...
skippy layup.
Yeah, 80-foot sidearms are one of the hardest shots to throw. I mean, it's so easy to throw it too soft or too hard.
Yeah, I agree.
And Eagle McMahon.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Incredible putt.
It's
through the wind, from a knee, through the trees. Amazing.
I mean, could not have hit a better part of the basket, too. Beautiful. And Coda says, I'll have some of that.
Yeah.
Fantastic putting display. Let's see if Brad can get his birdie with the fantastic drive there. He is in the basket.
Very nice.
And Miles with the first time that he didn't take a share for at least the best score of the hole, but saves his 3, and so does Nolan. Nolan with an incredible approach there from about 100 feet.
That was probably one of those arrows just gliding right through.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about that.
We are back on hole 3, a par 3, 343 feet, moving to the left. Is that going to be an out of bounds line along that that rough, Germ? Or are you?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's
so
a par 3,
you really have
but
to keep the disc out wide.
I mean, it's a par 3, but this is a huge bonus. I mean, this is such a difficult hole. You're almost throwing what seems to be kind of a U-turn, but if we got a bit of a headwind, this could be really helpful to throw the disc as Brad has high and letting it swing and push back late. Oh, and that is
look at all that lift.
That is an incredible throw there from Brad. I mean, talking about student of the game there, he knew exactly the height to throw the disc so it would lift and carry. And Eagle's probably going with a little bit more overstable trust shot just to kind of get it out into the field. It doesn't look like he's really attacking the green so much, although he does actually have...
He's got a chance,
He's got a look. So it looked a little bit wider out of the hand than it ended up being.
The dust that Brad's drive kicked up actually aced. I saw it float over there and hit the chain. So that's a good shot. You got a tailwind putt.
I don't know if that counts, but he'll be happy to look back on this video and know that at least something hit metal.
Yeah, something that he caused hit metal.
And Coda has come up a bit short, and it looks like Miles as well is kind of... It's hard to decipher exactly how aggressive they're trying to be in their minds, but really, there's nothing wrong at all with taking a 3 here. A 2 is, like I said, it is a super bonus here, in these conditions at least.
Yeah. This looks to be a solid shot as well. Staying safe. Should have a fairly open upshot just to get into that little bit guarded green. You could definitely have a bad line there.
And that had a lot of angle coming in with a lot of steam, but just had a really nice soft checkup.
And Miles plays more of a putter shot.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. I do not envy these guys. Playing in this kind of wind is so difficult, and you can see why. He put good steam on that, but the wind just smashes it down, and he's going to have a really nervy putt to save his par.
Yeah, and Eagle wants no part of that. No comebackers today. If you can keep the disc close to the basket, you're going to be making up strokes on the field overall. But I don't think that Brad's going to be laying this up.
I hope not.
Oh
man.
So close.
Would have been a special birdie for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like an Eagle putt, that had all the makings of gaining a stroke on the field. And Nolan has missed his par putt. Tough break on the approach.
Yeah.
Solid.
Definitely good par putt there. Man, the wind. I was almost going to thinking, oh, maybe there's a little lull in the wind for him, and then just all these leaves and dust go flying through. So that putt was not an easy one either.
Interesting story. In 1997, they were actually going to rename this course to the Wind Farm.
Really?
No.
It's a believable year. Man, 97 was a believable year. You almost had me.
It was one of the windiest years in Arlington history.
Okay.
And Eagle is in on his 3. And only 1-4 there. Not surprising there's no 2s, but Brad, you was so close.
Yeah, he was. Hole 4, par 3, 239 in the scrubby Texas trees. This can be a really tough place. You know, I've played a lot of courses in Texas that look this way, and these trees do not mess around. If you hit one, your disc is most likely stopping right where it is.
I feel like if you were unlucky enough that you fell out of a plane, this would be one of the places in the world you didn't want to fall out of a plane, because you'd land on this, and if you'd want to land like either in water or like a soft like grassy area, but not in Texas.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, you don't want to die twice.
No. And that's the difficulty of this hole.
It's a pretty errant shot right there.
It's so technical because these trees are just so gnarly, but the airspace is above them, and so you're bringing in the wind, and it makes these little short technical shots where you want to have a lot of speed to fight the wind so technical and so tricky. And Eagle did a great job there. I believe that was with his G-Star Max, or not G-Star Max, Metal Flake Max.
Whoa. Oh yeah, probably. And that looked like a grenade from Coda.
That's one way to fight it.
Thrown with the disc upside down. I think Miles is doing the same thing, really fighting the wind. And that's a Texas guy type of shot, to know how to do that. I mean, to flip the disc upside down and rip that hyzer so it flips underneath itself. Pretty impervious to this wind for sure.
Look at these shots
if the wind is coming from the right.
Oh my goodness, look at that. What a break. Great shot, but beautiful. Incredible result as well.
Let's see how tough this is for Bradley. He's got to go up again.
Oh, he almost drains it.
Controls it perfectly.
Incredible. Oh, just off the rim.
Eagle for a birdie. Nice putt. That'll buy him another pair of pants for sure.
And Nolan, Coda, that's
for 2.
Pulling out the tricks. This will be a nice little par save here. And in the basket.
Nice.
Really solid, confident looking stroke right now.
For sure.
And Brad
with a really nice par save.
Yeah, he almost had the half court throw in at the buzzer there. That was really close. And Nolan's going to get his first birdie of the round. He is off to the races now. Watch out, folks.
There you go. Eagle takes the lead, -3.
Impressive 3 birdies. That hole is very tricky, especially in that wind. I mean, you saw it just fooled Brad.
Yeah, for sure. Hole 5, par 3, 349, moving down the hill. Another kind of tough shot where you got to put the disc up there in that brutal wind.
Yeah, just a little downhill. I mean, in calm conditions, it's a pretty soft mid-range hyzer, maybe a bit of a stand-up, or a spike hyzer. In these conditions, you really have to read the wind, because it can be a forehand shot like you're seeing Eagle line up, or an incredibly wide backhand hyzer. But it's really all about fighting the top flight plate against the wind in these conditions to make sure it doesn't lift up and sail.
Yeah, at least the worst thing that'll happen is you get slammed down a little short. Where if you put the wind under the disc, there's a long list of things that could happen.
Oh, and you saw it right there. He lifted that one up just a bit. And Nolan's trying to go incredibly wide, and it is lifted a bit. And look, it's swinging back. I mean, that looked like an errant shot. And then next thing you know, he is within just mere feet of the basket. Incredible. I mean, that's some local course knowledge right there.
Yeah, that was great.
And Brad with a nice-looking forehand there. Comes up a bit short, but really, you know, when you have to pick a line out in the distance and throw towards that line. And if you get the distance right as well, it's a bonus. But to get both of them right, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's what we call a birdie.
Yeah, and look at
whoa.
This. Wow.
Near ace.
And he is going to have a tricky putt from there, but it looks like he might have just enough of a ceiling to be able to get through there. Coda, however, has got nothing but a layup.
Yeah. Tough spot. Got to get down there in the little cave of bushes. Could be quite a few thorns in play on this hole as well. I'm getting a real thorny vibe.
Do they have a cactus? Not a cactus. Do they have a rattlesnake tree yet in Texas where it's just a tree made up solely of rattlesnakes? Or is that just a myth?
Yeah, they probably have it.
Okay. If they do, you need to watch out for that because that sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, and Miles. Very good
Second hole in a row, he's almost hit a special putt.
Oh, wow. What a confident...
You were right. Nolan is on the move.
Yep. Watch out, folks. I know that he won it. Was it last year that he won it, or was it 2015? Either way,
I think last year.
I think he's won this event several times. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's won this several times.
You could be wrong, but you probably aren't. Couple of pars. Just the one birdie from Nolan there. Hole 6, par 3, 329, moving back up the hill a bit.
There it is.
We got a couple nice rock walls here. Look at these.
This takes a crush. First time I ever visited Veterans Park Open, we actually had the pleasure of playing with Craig Leyba, and he was sharing stories about playing this course in the 80s and 90s, and he was talking about throwing an AVR on this hole, which at that time was just absolutely insane, and he was well known for his power and being able to go over the top of things that people just weren't able to dream of. And it's pretty cool to see this hole and think about all the history behind this course.
Yeah, that is cool.
And Eagle throwing discs that weren't available in the 80s here. With a sidearm, he's going to be parked. That's a shot.
Well, Eagle himself was barely even available in the 90s, so.
That's crazy to think about. That is so crazy. And this sidearm has gotten away from Coda. He is going to be way left of the basket. Not much in the way. Should be able to get up and down. Brad with his patented swing pendulum sidearm run up. And he's
sort of
also
Avery Jenkins, Paul Macbeth look.
Yeah. And I'm sure he studied those guys. You know, when Bradley was coming up, Avery Jenkins was at the top of his game. And now that he's at a top pro himself, you know, Paul Macbeth is right there at the top of the game. And like we said, he's a student of the game.
Yep. Miles going big power. Needs this thing to get overstable in a hurry.
I mean, you can see with the scatter plot of results that we've had so far in this hole just how good Eagle's shot really was.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, it's going to be a bit tricky there. That's anytime you have to go uphill in any sort of wind, it makes putting so much more difficult.
That's a nice little forehand touch shot from Bradley. Sit down. There you go. I'm going to venture a guess that this shot is pretty difficult.
Wow.
Nicely done.
That was 90% skill, maybe 10% luck. Oh, no.
Oh,
see, that's...
my gosh. That's... Oh, that's the opposite. Well, no, it's both... It's a lot of skill and a lot of the wrong kind of luck.
Yeah. Wow. Tough to see there. But that's just what happens when you go uphill into a headwind. I mean, your disc will spit out if it's dead center almost more times than it'll stay in, which is really tricky. What do you do? How do you do that any better? You know, I mean, it's not much you can do.
You have to put it hard.
Yeah.
Eagle with the nice birdie, though. He kept the Alamo in the forefront of his thoughts, kept remembering.
Yep.
And he got up over these rock walls and he got rewarded.
You have to remember the Alamo at this time. You know, it's one of those things that you just can't forget.
Yeah, you don't want to let it slip back when you're playing a rock wall hole in Texas. You got to keep the Alamo at the forefront.
That's right.
Hole 7, par 3, 360 feet. A little bit more open off the tee, but again, it's not a low line shot. It's getting up in the air, over the top of the trees, and it's just going to be throwing overstable discs. See who can control that speed.
Yeah, and calmer wind. I could see a forehand turnover shot being thrown in this hole just for the way that it lands, but I'm going to guess that 90% of the players are going to be throwing the backhand hyzer here up high. And that just got smashed down from the wind. Maybe giving a wind read to the rest of the card if they were paying attention to that.
Yeah. A little bit more height, but it also looks like it's staying out.
And
a bit wider than he might have liked.
And fought back downhill a bit, but he's going to be short. And man, this hole is just playing tricks right now. You want to throw something technical down the middle, flip up. There's so many different obstacles to contend with. You know, you're going uphill, you're going around this corner blind, you have all these scrubby rattlesnake trees in the fairway. And and then we got the wind. I mean, there's just so many different things. And we actually have a really nice shot looking throw from Miles, but it has maybe had a little bit too much nose up and he has drifted down the hill.
Man. See if Coda can find that middle ground.
There is no middle ground.
No, there's nothing there. Coda with a little forehand turnover, needs a good little slide, and he got most of it.
And I'm sure the last thing he wants right now is another uphill putt for par.
Yeah, for sure.
And Brad with a really nice
Bradley, well done.
Nova shot. And Eagle is just saying to himself, the wind's better up there.
Yeah. Nice. He had a little gap there to get through.
And Nolan, the saving grace for the card, elects the layup instead of running that putt. And Eagle, a surprising amount of distance left here, has
nicely done.
Striped the putt dead center. Wow.
Wow. Just stays under the band, and this time it sticks. Good to see that.
I feel like we haven't spent nearly enough time talking about Eagle's pants. Like, not even close to how much time we should be talking about his pants.
Where did he get them? Why did he, how much were they?
How much? Are they stretchy? Are they comfortable?
Do they come in? Is it a men's size, or did he have to buy like a size 6 extra long? And it's hard to say.
There's so many questions I have. I'm both in amazement. I love them.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Germ, for joining me all the way from North Carolina. I'm currently in Oregon, so we're doing our best to put a product together for you guys. Jomez doing great work as always. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you to Ideal Discs and Legacy Discs for the tournament coverage, or for the tournament support. And we will be joining you guys again for the back nine.